In recent social media posts, Sony has confirmed that the PS5 Future of Gaming event has been delayed. The press conference was due to be held this Thursday after a very recent advertising campaign by Sony. Expected to be the unveiling of the PlayStation 5, the event has now been delayed because of the protests currently happening across the United States. Sony stated, "We have decided to postpone the PlayStation 5 event scheduled for June 4th. While we understand gamers worldwide are excited to see PS5 games, we do not feel that now is a time for celebration and, for now, we want to stand back and allow more important voices to be heard." A humbling statement that is truly a delay that no one could feasibly argue isn't warranted. The death of unarmed African-American man George Floyd has been a tipping point in a series of unlawful killings by police in the United States. While Sony hasn't stated that they fear for safety, the delay could also be just that. During protests which turned violent in Los Angeles over the weekend, Hollywood saw a good amount of destruction. Hollywood also just happens to be the area where Sony has historically held its press conferences during E3 week. Protests have been largely peaceful, however some areas have seen small amounts of violence, mostly instigated by white supremacists posing as members of Antifa. While this was a good attempt to give Antifa a bad name, it was exposed almost immediately as a provocateur attack. Meanwhile, the Future of Gaming event was supposed to be our definitive unveiling of the PlayStation 5 console and its games. No one outside of Sony has actually seen the console itself, and one person's guess is as good as another's as to what the machine looks like. However, Sony did unveil the console's controller a few weeks ago as it was being shipped to developers. Named DualSense, the new controller is a far cry from the traditional DualShock, especially in its shape. Looking more like a cross between DualShock and Xbox One controller, the pad does look like a truly next-gen piece of hardware. Some talented concept artists have used their gifts to come up with what the PS5 could look like based on the style of the DualSense controller. DualSense is also said to contain revolutionary new technology such as haptic feedback, adaptive triggers and a built-in microphone array for communication. Other features of the machine, while known, haven't been explicitly demonstrated or elaborated on by Sony. The machine's solid-state drive, for example, is known to be a key feature and integral part of the machine. However, not much is known about how it will be fully included. Neither the operating system, full official system specs nor any games have been demonstrated. All of these features are expected in the Future of Gaming conference. As of yet, Sony has not commented on a rescheduled date for the event. However, I would expect that the date will be sooner rather than later, as the expected PlayStation 5 release date of this fall is getting closer. According to Sony CEO Jim Ryan, recent events, including the coronavirus pandemic, hasn't halted their plans for the PS5 launch. PlayStation 5 launch is expected to be somewhere in this holiday season, so it could be any time between late November and Christmas.